All right, so welcome. In this section, we want to just briefly and in a very simple and clear way, hopefully by God's grace, go over understanding your money, record keeping, make it made easy. I think our first resource person has done justice to the core thing we have for today. But we just thought, okay, let's do some practical with a bit of experience I've had keeping records in time past. Especially, she's a business expert. She has a business foundation. I am not. I am in the sciences, right? But why I'm saying that is to say that anyone can actually do it. So you're not going to feel like, it's like people know too much, or like people are business people. So it's not that, it's that anybody can actually do it. It's as simple as even writing. So that's why I thought of putting that caveat so that you don't get scared like because of when they hear accounting, they're like already get tired from the beginning, like the mass I ran away from in secondary school has come to face me again. So that's not what we want to do. We just want to help us, like she said, she emphasized so many times the importance of keeping records. So what to think about in very simple ways. How can you keep records? Even if you say you are still a worker, you still work somewhere, you still have records to keep, right? That can help you even in future when you want to start having your own business. Even as an earner, you want to know, okay, I earn some amount of money. How do I track what I use that money to do to be sure that I'm not wasting it on something that is not important and the money goes into the right thing? So this is applicable to everybody, and I hope that we're going to have a good time learning together. So when we talk about bookkeeping, right? It's like she said, your record is like the backbone, the jacket of your business. And so your business, don't look at your business or your income. Let me just put it both sides, because some of us might say, right now I'm not a business owner, but I know so many people in the future you're going to have one little business or the other, even if it's open a little shop. There's a service, there's a skill you know that you want to offer, and you expect people to pay you even if you're still working, because people still work, can still work somewhere, and they are still providing services, even if it's not good. So, but you have a service that you want to offer people, and they can pay you by the side. That works. But you want to know, how do I not just see it as a small, I'm just doing this as a side hustle. That's what we call it here. But we want to grow it as grow it from a side hustle to something very big in the future. So we should understand that your business is not just small, because when you have that mindset that this business, even if I'm earning 1 naira today, well, I'm not going to say any, but I have that thing in mind that, okay, I want to do this tomorrow by God's grace, hopefully, God willing. And as I plan and work towards it, see that's not just small. So even if you're someone who sells food from a small pot today, you can become a big restaurant owner tomorrow. I remember Wednesday Wins. It's a program we do called Wednesday Wins. And this week she talked about Hilda Bassi, right? And she said when Hilda started that she didn't even have money to start. It was people who provided the money for her. So, they'll give her money, she'll cook the food and then give to them, they'll pay her, right? Pay her the balance. And that's how she grew to a Guinness World Breaker today. So we shouldn't have the mindset of this is just small. Let me just be doing anyhow. No, you can just, no matter how small you think it is, think big, and that's how it's going to grow. So a person who repairs phones from a small table today can grow and own a big tech company tomorrow. A person who sews clothes today in a corner of their house can own a fashion house tomorrow. We talk about what's this lady that is very trendy about fashion. Vicky James, right? She started as little Lagos in one corner and all that. Now she's a global figure. So the difference between those who grow and those who struggle is one thing: bookkeeping. Because, like she emphasized, I'll always refer to what she said, that whether it's in your relations with government, when trying to scale your business, attract funding, grants, even what do you call it, goodwill from people. Maybe you have family, friends, and neighbors and all that who even see you. They're like, what are you doing? You're like, I'm doing this, or I'm trying to do this. And you're able to explain and even put figures to what you're doing. They'll see the need to want to invest in what you're doing, true or false. If you see somebody who walks up to you and say, I do this is what I've done. I started with 2,000 naira in 1 month, I made 10,000. The person explains it that way. You will want to be like, this person knows what she's doing. You want to give to the person, not to talk about the plan, comparing the person to someone who just comes and says, there's one business I started. I've been trying. work, I'm looking for money, but the person doesn't even see what the person has done with 2,000. And that's the reason why so many people don't want to invest, because they feel this person does not even know how to steward 2,000. If I give the person 10,000, the person will squander it. So it's important for us to treat our business as something big that will grow into something bigger tomorrow. And that's why bookkeeping matters, because when we don't keep records, you know, of the things we're doing, if you don't know if you're making profit or not, you don't know where your money disappears to, you don't know if your price is correct. And that's why so many, I saw statistics, some time ago, that out of 100 businesses that start in a year or so, about 10% or so stays in about 5 years. So I'm not sure, very sure of the figure, but the figure is less than even 50% of, if you have 10 businesses to start, in how many years' time? Less than five are remaining, because they probably don't track record of what they do. They just my mother again, somebody give me money, 500,000. They just start, blah, blah, blah. The money disappears. But if you're able to track when even things start going wrong, you know where they are going wrong, you know what happened to them, and then you sit back to reflect and know what's best to do. You know if someone is cheating you, you know if you can't afford if you can afford to expand or not. But with simple records, like she said, you can apply for loans, grants, and you can build trust with your customers. You can avoid stress and a lot of other things that could even dampen your spirit as you run your business. All right, so this training or this section we are going to have shortly will help us learn how to track how money comes into our businesses, how to track our expenses, how to calculate our real profit and not just guesswork, how to separate business money from personal money, and how to determine if your business is growing. Because it's when you're able to see, okay, how much am I earning, or how much is coming in, how much is going out as expenses, how much am I using to purchase the things I'm using to restock, even if it's a service you're providing. But maybe you have to buy data, you have to rent a space, every other thing you have to do. What are the things I'm putting into that business? So you even have even knowledge, the knowledge you're acquiring, you're paying for a certification, you're going to school to learn. They're all investments that you're making to fund the services that you're providing. So all those things have to be factored into your expenditures in one way or the other. So some can be assets like you talked about, some are actually expenses. So want to see how to in a very simple way put that record in place. And like she also talked about this, how money flows in. So you have the cash in, the money the business receives. So you like she made instances of someone who's doing a haircut, making hairs, or you're selling something. So someone could come and pay 3,000 naira for a haircut. But remember that 3,000 naira is not the money you earned. It's not profits. It's some money that came in. Inside that 3,000 naira, you have the lights that you paid for you to be able to operate the clipper, right? You have the space you rented. So you find out that by the time you minus all those things, out of that 3,000 naira, it's only 1,000 naira needed. That is your money. And that's the mistake some people make when they have, they're running businesses. Maybe someone has put in money and money is coming. If money is just flowing in, you don't know that money is not your money. At the end of the day, you're wondering, did anybody steal from? Nobody stole from you, but you are not tracking to see that there are other things that are factored into that money that came in. So there's cash in, there's cash out. So that's the money the business spends, the money used in running the business. Maybe like you bought materials, different other stuff for your business. So that's expense, and then profit is what remains after the expenses. So when you now have the cash in, you subtract the cash out. That's what goes out from what came in. What you have left is the profits that you actually made from the business. And so we want to see in real terms how to do that. So I'm going to go to another page that just give us a brief idea of what that could look like. And this should not make you panic, like I said earlier. So it's not like, what are all these numbers I'm saying? So I'll just give you an instance. And now this is also not cast in stone. It's not like I must do it like this. You do what works best for your business. You understand how your business works and you do it. And also there are lots of other applications. It depends on what business you're doing. There are lots of applications, like if you're running a business, that you can use to enter your records. and then it sums up whatever thing you're doing. But this is what I just brought this to show us an example of something I used when I had, like I said, little bit of experience. I'll show you in practical terms how this helps. What you have here is the month. If you have a year, so this is the month. This is an example of what you can do. So you have a business, whatever business or a service you're rendering, and you want to know, okay, I want to be able to track how money comes in. So this is sales, like cash in, right? So these are different tabs. So here is sales, cash, the money coming in, right? So I have January here. This cash is the money received as cash. This bank is the money paid into your, maybe you have a bank transfer. Maybe you have a POS. This is money that goes into maybe another account. You have your POS. I put this personal here because if some people who own shops have the tendency of eating from their shop, just like just me, I just sell one. I sell one biscuit. I sell one biscuit. So if you're not paying, the right thing is that you just buy that thing from that shop. That's the right thing. But if you're not buying it, let me say you're not, you don't have cash to pay immediately. That whatever thing you sold, you ate, just go and even if you ate 15 naira biscuits, you can carry that 15 naira and put on that person now. That because that item is no longer in your shop, right? You have actually that item is out of your shop, so it's bought by you. That's just what it means. So you just put it as what you bought. So at the end of the day, this is January 1. You have that you had at the end of the sales or whatever you sold for the day, you have this amount of money as cash, you have this amount of money paid into your bank. If you know how to use Excel, there's a way to automatically make put a calculation that it automatically sums whatever is sold for that day. So you have the sum there. So you want to do soybean and get the powder, right? So you have to go to the market and buy the bean itself. And when you buy the bean doesn't just get into the bag immediately. You have to process it and you remove the back, blend it, dry it, all those processes. So you go and purchase that beans, right? So that's one of the goods you buy. That's soybean. You even buy the material using packaging it, the bag, the leather bags. So that's one of the things you buy. The branding as well, So all these things. So you begin to see that the branding, the processing, I don't know, even the transportation you use in going to the market. That's why you have a tab for expenses here. All these things come under expenses. The transportation you go, so there are different expenses here. That's how, like I said, the format is not cast in stone. You could reiterate, like, okay, see this the template, and then I say, okay, let me tweak it into something applicable to me. But for this template here, we have the dates here, you have the description of the actual thing you did. Then under other columns, you have different things like electricity. Under electricity, you have electricity there. Whichever day you pay for electricity, you come and enter the figure under it. You have telephone, you can even have data, you have transportation, you always go to the market. So whichever day you transport anything, or maybe you supply, dispatch, you record that transportation. You have packaging. So the bags using packaging. Like you who will need branding and design, you could have a column for design. So you pay people for design, you go and enter that figure there. You you use stationaries. If you have some staff who you pay, you record it. You repaired some items, just whatever thing that if you have some things that are regular expenses, you would have columns for them. So whichever day you actually have that expense, you go and record it under that date. So at the end of the month or year or quarter, you can now say, okay, I calculate and say, I spent 150,000 naira on packaging. I think this is expensive compared to what I am getting. Can I look for somewhere else to get these materials at a cheaper rate? Do you see? But if you're not tracking it, you just be buying, and you don't even know how much you're spending on just packaging. If it's on design, so you feel like, design I spent for this quarter is high. Can't I look for someone who I can contract it to give it to me at a cheaper rate? So looking at figures helps you to see what you're doing and then know because if you're assuming you now go and buy that beans, and let me say you buy whatever quantity, you do a bag or half a bag for, I don't know how much it is, but just give an instance, 10,000 there, and then you do the expenses, the packaging, the blending, all the processing, and then at the end of the day you get 5 bags out of it. Remember, you're going to factor in all those expenses you made into that plus the amount you bought that thing. Let me say all the expenses you made plus packaging, maybe 5,000 naira. and plus a 10,000 naira, that's 15,000 naira, right? And you have 5 bags, you make 5 bags of the soybean from it. So you can't start selling it at 3,000 there, because 3,000 naira be 15,000 naira. It means you're just doing jackie work. You're just, you're just doing charity. Actually, charity. Let's not call it charity. That doesn't look like you're punishing yourself. You're just doing charity, helping us to process soybean, which you'll be grateful for. But we'll be grateful for. But at the time, you're going to get tired, right? It's not sustainable. So if it's charity, you know it's charity, but this is business, right? You're supposed to earn profits. So going back to purchases, so I still have it for January and then each day, because it all, like I said, it depends on what you're doing. So, but if you have those particular, this is just the sum. Remember, you still have the receipts of each of those things that you bought. So, like I know how we do it then. If in a day we buy so things, you have receipts for them. You just put it in a file and staple it together. This is for 1st January. That's stapled. Another file, another, you buy some things tomorrow. You get the receipts, staple them. Then you just add up for what you have bought those receipts for day one. Add sum them and put the total figure here. I don't know if this made sense.
Yes.
It did make sense. All right. So we're rounding up now to just give you a high level summary rundown of what action steps we can take from all these things we are saying, all this, not call it gibberish, but like long story we're talking about. So action steps to take, like I said, you could get a notebook, write it, business record book, on the cover, and start recording your daily sales without excuse. If you are not a business owner yet, start recording your daily expenses. I'm earning 200,000 naira, 100,000 naira. Today, I spend this amount on transport and this amount on buying sweet and chewing. You write it. On buying airtime, you write it. You understand? Tomorrow, you write it. At the end of the month, you can now add up, okay, I spent so and so amount on transport, this amount on biscuits, this amount on nothing. And, just it gives you an idea of where your money is going to. So you now say, if I'm spending so much money on buying biscuits, I need to stop buying lots of biscuits next month. And instead, maybe how about I save up money, go to the market. Even if, I'm just using biscuits as an instance. If that biscuits is something important, it's something another commodity, but it's important. But because if you buy by the roadside, it's expensive. You've been spending more. Instead of buying 1 naira biscuit every day, at the end of the month, I've spent 30K. How about I go to the market, and then buy this in bulk, and then come to the house and I'm using it in bits. I might save 30%. Maybe I buy it at the end of the month, I buy it 30,000 naira. Totally. I go to the market, you might discover that I might buy it just 2,000 naira, and you save 7,000 naira instead of spending it. And so this is just an example of some things you could do. Buying in bulk, very very important. It helps. Even fruits like all this. I can't do it. There's already 3 oranges, 500. I'm like 500. I'll go to the supermarket and buy half bag. But I don't know. Buy a quarter bag, But yeah, and buy. So if those things are things you use often, so instead of buying randomly and you're spending so much money, at the end of the month, record keeping will tell you that you spend this amount on this. Just next month I'll go and buy it in bulk. Even if it's 2 times, I have to go to that market and buy it and then and save some money. All right, so start recording your daily expenses. Like I said, write your asset register, know the value of your business. She talked about assets, so I don't have to repeat that. Assets are those things that you have, you buy, keep for yourself in your house, and sorry, in your office mainly. Even in your house, those things are assets too. Separate personal and business money immediately. Very important. Don't mix business and personal money. That's why in that sales, I showed you a place for personal, so that even if you took some items for yourself from your business, at the end of the month, you know how much you owe your business. You pay your business back because you're actually owing them. Yeah. Like I said earlier, you could create a WhatsApp backup group that it includes just you, where you can drop, details of some records you need to keep track of. Write down your business goals for the next 3 months, or your personal goals, or things you want to do for yourself, that will help you to save more and more, help you to be more financially stable and buoyant. Practice everything that we've discussed consistently for the next 30 days. Yes, it's difficult to keep habits. You know, they're saying record keeping, it's sounding sweet in the ear, but doing it is a big deal if you've not been used to it. It's just like learning a new skill. So I want you us to all remember that our hands are gifted. Whatever thing you're doing is blessed and is gifted. Your business is important and your future is bright. So don't take it as I'm just this. With structure, discipline, and understanding, you can turn your skill into a powerful business. Thank you very much.
Okay, so you while you were showing us how to record on Excel, I saw purchase and I saw expenses. I don't know if you can help me clarify the difference between purchase and expense.
All right. Thank you very much. So for the record here, the purchases are the items that like the goods used for the business, right? So like example, the soybean you mentioned, so you purchased the soybean. It's not a consumable, it's not something that it's part of the goods that you sold that you're giving out. So your soybean, let me say you're putting crayfish in that so in that soybean powder. The crayfish, the dates, I don't know. So all those things are part of the purchase, like the items that like make up the
Okay, just
goods.
like writing down the items you bought and what and how much you bought them
Correct.
for.
Correct. So the expenses are like the things that keep the business running. They're like electricity. It's not in the goods, but you use it for the business, right? The electricity, if you're paying for water bills, transportation, all those packaging and branding. So those ones are the expense.
Okay, so if I want to calculate my expenditure for the month,
Yeah.
am I going to calculate my purchase separate from my expenses, or when I'm calculating, I then translate or yeah translate my purchase to my
All right. So for the month, if you want to do when you're calculating your summary, you calculate the purchase things you purchased. That's the items, the goods. You have a sum for that. Then the expenses, you have a sum for that. Now, it depends on how the business runs. If the example like electricity, if you put an electricity of 5,000 naira, I don't know if you exhausted that for the whole month. So if it's exhausted for the month, you put it into the total expenditure, right? If it's not exhaustible, you okay approximate that I've used that with the worth of like 4,000 naira. So you add it to the expenditure. If the goods you have the goods now, right? So you produce the goods from those items you purchased. Maybe you use all those items you purchased to produce the 5 bags of like the example I cited of soybean, packaged bags of soybean. You use all those items you purchased, so it's part of the expenditure. So you sum the approximated expenses plus the purchases, the things you purchased. You sum them together, so that will give you total figure for the expenditure that's made up that's 5 bags, the 5 bags of soybean. So that's why I said, let me say you bought the soybean and the items used in making it for 10,000 naira. Let me say you bought the soybean 10,000 naira. Other items, crayfish, dates, whatever, maybe 3,000 naira. That's 13,000 naira, right? The immediate expenses, transportation, processing, and all those things, maybe like 4,000 naira. So altogether, 13 plus 4, that's 17,000 naira. So that's what it costs you to produce the five packaged bags of soybean. So with that, you now know what profit do I want to make on that. Is it 20% profit I want to be making for each expenditure I make? Something like that. So I don't know if it makes sense. All right, thank you.